throughout the game last night?
There's no feeling like it, man. And I mean, it wasn't pretty. I probably played my worst game of the year. Just right now, feeling walking off the field. But man, I mean, we willed that game. We talked about it early in the week, man. We said we're gonna have to will ourselves to win this game. Like, there's no way we're gonna be able to lose. Like, and that was the way we played, man. The defense stepped up. I mean, two huge stops, man, right on the goal line. I mean, that changed the game, man. And the O line, I mean, all the stuff they took during the week, and and all the flack that they were getting, for them to step up the way that they did, and for us to run the ball and keep the ball in our hands and win the game with the ball in our hands. I mean, that's unbelievable, man. And just being able to scrape out a win like that, it's not pretty. They're a good football team. I do believe that, and they did some good things. I did some bad things. I believe if you take away the pick and the turnover in the end zone, it's probably like 28-3 going in half. It's a different game, but man, we willed ourselves to win that game. I can't give enough credit to my teammates. They bailed me out. It's just winning a game like that, man. In my home state, it's unbelievable.
Well, did you get the ball for one after the goal line stand? I know what the mindset was, but did you guys discuss it? Let's just not let them get the ball back. And the fact that you stayed on the ground for all because of 11 points, how important special was it?
That was huge. We willed ourselves to win that game. That was. We put the ball on Q and Trey and the O line's back and let them win the game for us, man. And I mean, I think we're averaging like 5 yards a carry on QB sneak right now. Like, our O line is unbelievable at that. So like, I mean, just getting the ball out, being able to, the biggest thing on that drive, I think, was that quarterback sneak on the first play, and getting the ball out to the 5 yard line from the 1 on a QB sneak is huge. And that we always talk about getting it out past the 5, and then another a couple big runs by Q and Trey, and man, that was huge. That was huge.
Awesome. Will, you keep talking about you certainly would like to play better.
Yeah.
What was your mindset after the interception? It was so loud in here, the biggest crowd in Deep State history. You certainly didn't want to start the game that way. What was it like for you going to the sideline? What was the conversation? Were you thinking internally?
Man, I was just like, hey, I made this a little harder than it should have been on myself and us, but the mindset can't change, man, and you got to just continue to, if you let that play affect the next play, that's when it becomes a problem, man. Because as much as I'd love to go back and change that play, and see it at its own and not throw that ball, I would, but how you respond is how you have to come back.
That's it. Okay. Will, thank you very much.
Hey, Will, just one quick. What'd you tell the team as you were coming off the one? What'd you tell them in the hub?
Let's go win this game. We did.
That was the G version of it.
All right, folks, thanks for being here. We're going to open up over here. Austin Ward.
Ryan, I asked last week to kick it off. Was this an angry version of Ohio State?
Yeah, I think so. Especially at the end. But we're going to go back and watch this and see a lot of things and break it down and, realize that the game probably could have been a different spot. But at the end of the day, the way that, we've been talking about it is go win the game. And we had to get a stop on defense. We went all the way to the 1 yard line. We got that stop. Tyleek goes out. We got to, send, K-Mac in the game and a few other guys to get that stop. And then, we get the ball back there, with over 4 minutes to go. And was it over 4 minutes to go? Yeah. And was that what it was? Yeah. And to finish that drive the way we did, I think is just going to springboard our physicality, our toughness as we head into the back half of the season. But these guys want it. And one of the things we talked about, this week was that, in life you're going to have these opportunities where you got to go will yourself to win, and you got to go take something. You got to go find a way to get that thing done, whether it's, for your family, in your career, or in the game of football. And our guys did that today. They did. And I'm really happy for this team. I'm happy for the seniors. And I think this is going to springboard us moving forward.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
I don't think it's overstating to say this team was at a crossroads coming into this game. How important was this win? A loss would have been devastating, and how big is this win?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, Bill, that we were at a crossroads. This was a big game for us. We didn't really want to publicly say that, but we said that behind closed doors. And it's a big game for us for a lot of reasons. And to get a top 5 win like this on a road in a tough environment, moving Donnie over to left tackle, And, you know, we felt like, you know, going into this game, it was going to be a difficult environment. We knew we had to win the rushing yards. Obviously, the turnover battle was going to be big. And then, you know, X plays. And so we had to really focus on those things. But at the end of the day, we had to find a way to get a stop and to get that extra first down or score. And that's what it's going to come down to. And so I think this is going to build us moving forward. But for our guys to get this win is going to go a long way. And, you know, guys came back on this team for a reason. It was to go, you know, win the rivalry game, win the Big Ten championship, and win a national championship. And so along the way, you know, I think there was this conversation about the expectations and all those types of things. And I said to the team, there's no great accomplishments that happen without going through adversity. It's just the truth. You don't just walk into a season and think you're going to go reach your goals. It doesn't work that way. That's just not the way life works. And so you get backed up against the wall, you got to respond, and that is life. So all of our goals are in front of us now, and we've been through a lot, and now we have to continue to build as we head into the back half of the season. But you know, I can tell you, coming out of that locker room right there's a lot of guys in a room that are excited. Probably the most animated locker room I've been in a long time. And so now, what are we going to do with it moving forward? But we are going to enjoy this tonight. Coaches, players, staff, everybody involved, because this was a moment that we have to, you know, enjoy. Because a lot of work that's been put in for this game.
Over to the right, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Ryan, this defense, to have its backs against the wall in that situation and get that goal line stand, what kind of springboard do you think that can be for this defense the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, think about last week, we had it on the one, and then we get the interception by Igbinosun, you know, going in at the end of the half, and then you add this one into it. I mean, you know, so it shows you that there's a grit, there's a toughness, there's a never give up, give me an inch and I'm going to defend it type mentality. And you got to give Jim and the entire staff credit on defense for their preparation going into this game. Penn State does an excellent job of changing formations, motionings, different looks. You know, they got Warren back there at quarterback, and, you know, looks like he's about in on that play. And they, you know, he's just short, and we found a way to get the stand. So, you know, but it comes down to the players. You know, coaches can put you in a situation, but the players got to go do it. They did it, and I'm proud of them.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Right. Obviously, it's been an interesting, I think, past 10 months for Carson. Obviously, having a job last year, losing a job this year. What did you guys see in him this week of practice that put him in a position to be ready? And where have you seen him from a development standpoint over the last 5 months?
We went with experience. That was the decision we made. In this environment, we went with experience. Now, I don't know what he's going to grade out at, but you didn't notice him much. And that's a good sign for a guard when you don't notice him much. So we'll get on the film and see how he did. But I think his experience paid off, and he was a big part of this win today.
Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you talked about an animated locker room. That may be one of the most animated you've ever been. And that game closed out. I know you don't like to listen to the noise, but for you personally, was there justification in terms of the way you've always talked about toughness? You talked about closing it out. Defense did it, offense did it.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that, I mean, can you just expand on your emotions at that? Was it relief? What was it?
Yeah, there's a lot there to probably unpack that I'm not going to get into all of it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes with being the head coach of Ohio State. And you can say ignore everything that goes on, but your players read it, your coaches read it, your staff members read it, your families read it. And, you know, you got to stay strong in those moments. But that entire team, our families, they all believed. And so to go do that and accomplish that, what we did today in this game in a top 5 victory, it feels good right now. Now, we still got a lot of football ahead of us, but yeah, right now it feels good. And I'm proud of our team, and I'm proud of our coaching staff.
Yep, folks, we're going to have players outside the back of our locker room here momentarily. Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, I don't know how much you've heard of Will, but he was pretty emotional coming off the field and here.
Yeah.
Just what did he give you, bouncing back from 2 big mistakes to seal it at the end with the slide there, which felt kind of justified after the
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. I thought he was just going to continue to run. But what he gives us is a toughness at quarterback, and having him as a weapon running the ball. You know, I mean, you saw the run that he had when the ball squirted out. I mean, that was a really executed play, really well executed play. Travion had an unbelievable block on that play, so it was gut wrenching because it was so well executed, and guys were getting after people and finishing everybody to the ground, and the ball squirts out on the 1-yard line, and it's literally like taking a shot right to the stomach. But there's nothing you can do. You got to regroup and keep playing, and that's the sign of somebody who is resilient, who's been through it before, and he willed it to happen. You know, he did, and he had a look in his eye all week that he was not going to lose this game. You know, whether it was because it was a top 5 team or it was from the state of Pennsylvania and a place that he grew up, wanted to be a Nittany Lion. I think all that probably played into it. You know, he just refused to lose, and that mentality, you know, helped us win today.
It's going to be the final question for Coach Tim May, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ryan, have you ever been in a game with so many key, crazy, game-turning plays? I mean, the ball, like you said, coming off Will Howard's knee there and goes out of bounds, touchback. With Quinchon, David Zygmunosin gets a holding call or pass interference call. Next play,
Gets a pick.
one of the most crazy interceptions you've ever seen. Just put that in your perspective.
So I went last night at the hotel. I went back through and I picked out probably 50 plays from the game 2 years ago here. If you remember that first half, that was almost as crazy. And I said to the guys at halftime, I don't know what's going to happen, but there's going to be a score. And it's probably going to be around 14-10, 17-14. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And it was like, you know, you get to halftime and you're like, whoa. It was the same way, if you remember, 2 years ago. And then even in the second half, there was craziness. And then JT got a bunch of turnovers and the game flipped real quick. So we were sort of prepared for a crazy game that way. It just happens here against Penn State. And we're going to go back and look at ways that we felt like maybe we could have won by multiple scores and all that. But ultimately, you got to go win the game in the fourth quarter regardless of the score. So that was another one of those crazy games.
Coach, thank you very much.
All right, guys.
He was fine. I just grabbed him. He said he was fine. Okay. Thank you.
No, we're going to do it outside.
That's what I was trying to. Thank you. Go ahead and go to the front.
It's crazy.
I would throw. Is it right here? I think we might have to walk. I'm gonna try to get one.